If you want to enter any art market with confidence, this video will teach you what no one else does. And as you watch me draw this, learn the same tips that have helped my clients grow from absolutely nothing to thousands of dollars a month by doing things that most artists miss or overlook. And if you apply everything in this video, you will succeed way more than most artists. Learn how. Now, just to get this one out of the way, if you want to fail, y'all stop doing what most people do, which is following the herd of sheep off the cliff by adhering to this popular advice. And whenever you watch most people's videos on how to grow, how to get freelance work, how to do better in the art market, it's always going to start with the fact that you need some big, elaborate social media following, that you have absolutely no prospects whatsoever if you don't have people following you. Well, I want to let you know, friends, this is complete trash advice. And in this current year, you absolutely do not need this anymore. Listen, the only person that cares about how many followers you have is you, because the only people that are impressed with the number of people that you have or don't have on your social media is basically teenagers with empty wallets. And they're not going to be your customers, they're not going to buy your stuff, and they're not going to help you get to a better future, friend. But you will. So unless you have like 50,000 or more followers on any particular platform, you fishing for any type of freelance work on that platform is completely worthless. Y'all, this is just the equivalent of you pitching a lemonade stand outside of the front of your house and going, "Hey, anyone want some art? Want some art? Want your Dungeons & Dragons character drawn? Can I make your furry character?" It's just worthless. So later on in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to stop fishing for clients with this inefficient method and instead go to the fish market, go to where the clients are and where there are better clients, higher paying clients, more respectable clients that would love to work with you. How's that sound? Now, how'd you like some big rocket fuel to get you blasting off from where you currently are if you have absolutely nothing, or if you have clients sporadically, or if you're just unsatisfied with where you are and you just know there's more potential? Here's the main thing that helped me go from $35 commission to $500 to $1,000 regularly. And it starts with the fact that you need to not be afraid to just niche down. And this popular advice is also really broadly used and nobody really specifies it. So let me just go ahead and help you figure that out, because what you really want to do is go ahead and insert yourself into a single community that does a single type of artwork, and I promise you, you will succeed way more than most people. And on that note, you need to make sure that you are avoiding broad topics. Like, let me just give you some examples here. Don't just do fan art. First off, this is way too broad. Like, what does that mean? You can just do anything? Because if you can just do anything, why would anybody come to you when there's millions of other people that can do it? Here's a popular one I see all the time, is fantasy. People be like, "I really like fantasy art." Cool. So do billions of other people. So what you really want to do is figure that out. What type of fantasy? Do you want to do dark fantasy? Do you want to do Dungeons & Dragons characters? Be specific with it. Want another one? A lot of people like to do art of MMO characters, but that too, it's way too broad. You can't just be like, "I'm gonna do every MMO out there." That's crazy. There's way too many of them. There's so many great communities that would love to have you create that artwork, but you cannot be so broad as to say that, because you need to insert yourself into that community for it. So instead, what are you gonna do? Are you going to do Final Fantasy 14? Are you gonna do Black Desert? Are you gonna do World of Warcraft? Be specific with it. Now, I hear your initial reaction to this, which is that I don't want to be constricted. I'm only gonna have to do one thing. But y'all, I just want to release you from the tension of that statement, of that mindset, because you are not restricting yourself. You will expand more by focusing. Because when I used to be a jack of all trades and I used to try and do a whole bunch of genres, guess what? People see you as mediocre. People look you over because you don't seem like you are a master or you are a specialist in what you do. And if you want to command better pricing, if you want to get better clients, if you want to have a better future, you should definitely start with one thing. And it's not that scary and it's not that hard to figure that out. And you don't have to stay there forever, but let me put it to you this way. Would you prefer to fail 5 different ways or succeed one and then expand outward? What do you think? Now let's break this big topic here. And let me ask you, what are you offering? So in your artworks that you have right now, you're trying to get clients, you've been trying for a while, or hey, maybe you're just wanting to put yourself out there, you're not quite sure what you need. Well, let me just tell you what you don't need. Every single artwork that you are putting out for a client, I just want to let you know, it's not always about what is the most glorious, supreme artwork out there on the web, okay? Instead, what you're doing is it's not even about an image, just so you can get into this mindset, get locked into this, okay? So this is really important. Make sure that you understand that every single artwork that you put out there is an opportunity for your client to look at what you did and say, oh, that's just like my character. Oh, that's just like my scene. Oh, that's just like my environment. Oh, that's just like the model that I want, okay? So every single artwork that you do should be relevant to that topic, to that niche. It should be very focused on what you want to do and things that would be in it. And you want to make sure that it also contains variety. And we're going to get into this in the next topic, so stay tuned for that. But if you're just starting out, friend, and you're not sure what to do, how many to have, listen, you don't need a huge portfolio. You don't need this big honking website. You don't need to have these major industry level chops, okay? Instead, what you just need is this. You just need 3 to 4 types of artwork, and here's what they are. First off, I would offer a bust. This is, again, just from the chest or shoulders up, and this is typically gonna be your lowest price artwork. So yes, friend, here's what I'm telling you. Ditch the sketches, ditch the process, ditch the black and white. Nobody wants them, nobody needs them, and to be honest, you're taking pennies for it, and it's worthless for your portfolio, and it's not gonna attract you more clients, okay? And we're gonna talk about why that's a bad idea later on here. But start with the bust, okay? It's going to be your basic, easiest way to make some money there. Second is that you need a half body. So this would typically be from the hips up, or if you got a little bit of leg showing, yeah, it's about the same thing there. So with that, that's another easy one. Again, you can talk people down into that price point if they can't afford your full body characters, which brings you into number 3, which I just said is a full body character. This is gonna be definitely one of the best portfolio pieces that you can do. And then if you can go ahead and create number 4, which is a full illustration, which is a character or characters within a background. If you're afraid of doing it, keep it simple. Watch some videos. I've got some great stuff loaded up on my channel in my tutorials section, which I'll go ahead and link down below for you on how to do this stuff better. However, though, I wanna let you know that even though some people do this, yeah, they still don't do it that well. And I definitely wanna talk to you about this topic. So stay tuned for that. Now, you might have been going for a while here, and you might have not had the success that you want, or you might not even get any prospects, or you just know that you have a greater earning potential than you currently have, and you're scratching your head like, why? Why am I not getting the clients? And we're gonna talk about some of those objections very soon. But I'm gonna tell you this, I see some of the worst sins ever committed, and I've been seeing the same things for years. And I want to shed light on what you're definitely not doing well and you're probably doing wrong when you're going to present your artwork for clients, when you're putting up your posts or whatever platform you're using. And here we go. The first thing that I want to let you know is when you do a lame presentation. So check out this image right here. This is the most sinfully bad example that you can ever put up. Here's the issue with this. You just showing one artwork and then cutting it up and showing price points is so lame. This makes you seem really lazy. It makes you seem like you don't do art. It makes you seem like you just do it whenever you feel like it. You're willy-nilly, it's fleeting, it's sporadic, and it doesn't show that you actually, can produce more than one type of artwork. And I've seen the same thing propagated where people will be like, oh, here's my sketch, here's a black and white, here's a half render, here's a color render, here's a full render. Y'all, this is worthless. Y'all ditch all that, okay? You need to have separate examples. Ditch this type of thing right now if you're using it. It'll definitely help you attract more clients. So one of the biggest major things that I see all the time too is even when people have multiple artworks, guess what? It's the same pose. Y'all, are you guilty of this? You know what I'm talking about. Do you basically do the same exact pose? Every single character, every exact scene has the same pose with the exact same composition? Well, that might be why you're not getting clients anymore, because they click through your stuff and it's like, what's different amongst all of these images? Nothing. This can often be very boring, and this is something psychologically that will excite clients when you vary it. So just like I'm showing you here, some of my newer art, every single artwork that I do, I try and do a different pose, try and do a different composition, try and do a different angle. It's not something that clients are gonna directly pick up on, but it's definitely gonna make you stand out amongst the generic sea of people doing the same exact pose. So when I first started out, I didn't realize this at the time, but I kept on giving my characters the same exact lighting. And again, this is dreadfully boring, so let me show you what I'm talking about. Most people, and I mean like 90% of artists out there trying to get clients, y'all will go ahead and do one of two lighting scenarios. You're gonna have the lighting, boom, face on, coming from the front, or you're gonna have it hitting from either the left or the right. And both of those are boring, especially if you have an entire portfolio of it. Like if you have 10 pieces with the same exact lighting, it doesn't showcase and it doesn't excite as much as somebody who has varied artworks and has varied poses and has varied characters and varied light sources. And it doesn't matter, by the way, if you're doing characters, if you're doing vehicle designs, if you're doing models, if you're doing backgrounds, use different lighting because it helps to emote the focal points. Also remember this, friends, that variety is the spice of the art client life. It shows that you have commitment. It shows that you have passion. It shows that you are somebody who's going to be fun to work with and you're going to deliver them something exciting that they didn't expect. However, though, if you use lame presentations, if you have the same boring poses and you have the same boring lighting across everything, listen, this is client repellent. And unfortunately, instead of promoting you getting better clients and more clients, it's just going to promote the fact that you appear lazy and without any type of innovation. So try this out. Now, the next thing you'll want to do in order to get more clients and have a better art future is make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe, especially if this is helping you. And please share this with somebody that you know, because I want to help as many artists as possible with this succeed. And now y'all get pumped up because we're about to enter hunting season, and let's talk about what you might be doing wrong or what you could do better in order to attract those clients. Now, a big topic that we need to go over right now covers this question, which is where are your hunting grounds? Where are you searching for clients? And have you ever considered that maybe you're cannibalizing yourself? Maybe you're hunting yourself into extinction. So typically when I talk to people and they say that they're not doing well and they're not getting the clients that they want, they're not getting as much as they want, they're not getting the price tags that they want, they typically go something like this. Well, they only hunt on Fiverr. Oh, they only hunt on Upwork. Oh, they only hunt on Artistry. And let me just be very frank and honest with you. That's why you're not doing better. Because your adherence to one singular platform is why you will fail. Because your entire success or your entire failure hinges upon the success and the popularity of that platform, which is inevitably going to fail because it is definitely inevitable that every single art platform out there is eventually going to become extinct. So, my friend, here's my major thing I want to let you know is that you will absolutely succeed way more than every other artist out there, so long as you start to use multiple platforms. And I'm not gonna be ambiguous about this, and I'm gonna talk to you about which platforms I have used and which ones I would recommend for you in just a little bit here. But just to give you the broad overview of it, if you're not using 3 to 5 platforms, I wouldn't expect much results. I wouldn't expect much ascension in your pricing like we'll talk about too. And I wouldn't expect for you to do as well as you could and deserve to. By doing this, you have opportunities. By doing this, you have diversity in your pool of clients. By doing this, you have the chance to actually succeed way more than everybody that is just using one platform. Because then what it does is it arrests you to the actual success of the platform, not your success. And unfortunately, what happens too is that typically makes you implement some of the bad practices that I'll talk to you about in a minute as well. So definitely get out of the mindset that you're only looking on one place and instead expand to at least 3 to 5. How's that sound? Have you ever considered this? Now, are you not landing the clients that you want? And one of the leading causes of this that I would say contribute to that is, have you considered that maybe your hunting routine is why that's the case? So typically when I talk to people, and especially artists that have not quite hit it, haven't broken into the market, and haven't actually landed a client, they're typically gonna say something like, well, Sean, look, it just doesn't work for me. I did what you said, but it doesn't happen. And my first question, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, tell me about when you did it. When did you post? When did you look? And they're typically gonna tell me something to the effect of like, well, I did it like 1 week here. I did like every 3 weeks here. I did it sporadically throughout the month. I just wanna let you know that's why. Because of the inconsistency of when you're actually trying to attract clients and trying to hunt for clients, that's exactly why you're not doing well. Because on average, most artists are completely sporadic. Most artists are trying to get clients, but they're doing it inconsistently. They're doing it when they feel like it, when it's convenient for them, and they're executing strategies that are just not working. So I want to tell you some of the platforms that I currently use, have used in the past, and have grown myself to making $3,000 to $5,000 a month on, just by doing these simple things. So first off, if you haven't seen my DeviantArt guide, I've got that one linked down below. And on that platform, it's really easy. Just go to the job forums, the ones not where you advertise yourself, but where you actually find people wanting to hire artists. And I just search on that either in the morning, or I search through those posts late at night. The reason being is because nobody else is typically doing that, okay? Most people are trying to do it in the middle of the day, so that way I'm typically the first person to post or amongst the first 10, which increases my opportunities. Second is I love to use Reddit. If you haven't seen that guide, I've got that link down below for y'all too. And on that platform, just post once a week. And what I recommend that you do in that video is you should post on a Friday or a Saturday. Reason being is because first off, most people are totally disengaged at work. About 60% of the American workforce does practically nothing every single Friday. So it's a great time to post where people are perusing the platform every single Friday while they're supposed to be working, you know? And also Saturdays, of course, because you're gonna get the most reach, you're gonna get the most traction on the platform. That's when most of the traffic will come. Another new platform I've been getting into and I've heard people have a lot of success with is Discord servers. If you're on a Discord server, one of the best things that you can do is to post relevantly, is to find servers that actually have art shares in their channels or some type of commission feature within their current server. And when you do that, I'm gonna recommend this too. Be involved with the community. People will see that you're not just trying to pander to them, not just trying to sell them a product, but instead you're trying to integrate yourself into that community, and that works really well for people. Another one that was really popular for me is I started to look outside of major platforms and I started to look on fan forums. So for me, I always loved Dungeons and Dragons. There are many Dungeons and Dragons fan forums, and I used to post on that once a week. But by me being consistent with all of these, it is a piece of cake. And listen, none of what I said right now is really exhausting. It'll take you just 5 minutes a day to look through all the DeviantArt job postings because you'll just see the same ones over and over again for a while. It'll take you roughly 20 to 30 minutes to post to 20 to 30 subreddits. It'll take you maybe 5 minutes in order to put up a post on a forum. And it'll take you maybe a few minutes a day just to check out Discord servers and push your artwork once a week there. It's not any mental heavy lifting, and you can look at it like this. You can invest the time into complaining about how you don't think that you're gonna ever break into the art market because it's not fair or coming up with an excuse, or you can invest that same exact time, less time than that in fact, into a less painful version where you actually just get on a consistent routine. Do you have one of these? Now let's tackle a really massive topic that plagues so many artists, probably just like you, and it's gonna start with where you start. And I bet that you're thinking that you probably need to start really low in your pricing, that you need to start dirt cheap, or you're looking around at other platforms and you're like, oh my God, everybody is so much cheaper than me. I don't know if I'm worth it. And therefore you're gonna come up with this gem of an idea and you're gonna say, well, I need to price myself lower because if I price myself lower, I'll get more clients, and I have more clients at a lower price tag, I'll have more success, right? Wrong. That's absolutely the most broken mindset you can have, because in you promoting yourself, having really cheap art, all you're gonna do, you will get the nastiest, most disrespectful, worst clients that you could ever possibly work with that don't love and respect you, that don't care really about what you're doing whatsoever. And all that contributes to the fact that you're gonna invite the wrong future. And here's another gem too, you will invite burnout because you're gonna realize that those efforts are completely worthless. And unless you wanna abandon your art, y'all hear me out on this. And listen, I understand the argument of everybody starts somewhere. Great, I'm gonna walk you through that right now. Myself personally, I started out doing $35 commissions. And I wanna tell you that doing that sucks. You don't feel good. You feel like you are discardable, it's very transactional, and you are constantly wrestling with this simple idea that you are worth more and you're putting in too much time into it. But you need to ascend in your pricing. I'm gonna give you a guide on how to do that in a minute here. But just to overcome some of your objections to this one, you're gonna say things like, well, look, I don't have the heart to do this. It doesn't seem fair. I don't know if I can. Well, guess what? You're the only person in the relationship that cares about that, because your art clients don't care that you are being basically abused for cheap art. And it's not fair to you either. So bless your heart, but your clients don't care about it, so why should you? Also, if you have a great current client pool, maybe you really like working with them, but you know in your heart of hearts right here that it's not your potential. Here's what I want to let you know. You should appreciate those clients. You should love them back. But your current crowd, it's not the crew that you want to roll with in your future. So unless your current client pool is reflective of the people that are going to pay 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times what you're currently getting, then they're not the people that you want to rock with forever. And you got to be okay with letting them go or increasing them and having them come along for your ride. And you're also probably going to think like, well, look, as I look around all these platforms, no one else is doing. Sean, look at all these people that are pricing so low. How am I ever going to do that? Well, here's what I'll let you know too, friend. They're losing too. And you might even see people that are bragging about like, oh, I got like a 20-person wait list. Yeah, great. Good for you, bro, off of your $25 commissions. I'm going to be honest with you, that's nothing to brag about. And if you're doing that right now, I want to encourage you as to why you definitely need to triple your pricing immediately if that really was your case. But all you're doing is you're creating yourself into oblivion. And just because you see other people posting doesn't mean other people are winning. So don't get that confused. And for me personally, I look around at what I do in my niche, in my genre, when I do fantasy and I do Dungeons & Dragons, and I see people all the time that are posting artwork that's like $50. And I'm over here like $500 to $1,000. And there's so many reasons I could literally look at this and be like, no, I really shouldn't do that. I don't think that's realistic or any nonsense like that. But realistically, I can get it. And so can you, friend. And that just traps you into this concept of you're there in that cheap pricing right now. But I need you to accept that that's just right now, or else it is a choice for you to stay in that cheap pricing barrel. Do you really want that forever? Now, I promised you I'd help you out. And listen, if you currently are looking at your pricing and you just don't feel great about it, it doesn't empower you, or especially if you're just starting and you don't understand how you're supposed to grow and how you're supposed to compete with other people, first off, I want to let you know this. Stop competing with other people, okay? That's really not the point. All right, and I'm gonna explain to you and prove to you in this segment about why that doesn't matter. But what you first off need to understand is that pricing is a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of what you deem your artwork to be worth. It's a reflection of what you are confidently willing to ask for. And therefore, stop thinking so much that everything that you do has to compete with everybody else's pricing, because that is a losing battle where you're just going to eventually lead yourself to price gouging yourself into complete annihilation. So if you're interested in actually bringing your prices up, and especially if you're just starting out, hear me out, because here's how it should look. So my personal price ascension model looks exactly like this, and you can copy it, please do. For your first 2 to 3 artworks, y'all, I just want to let you know, this is where, yes, I'm going to bless you with the opportunity to take what you can get, to do what you can do, because here's the most important part. In your first 2 to 3 artworks, it's not about money. It's not about getting rich. It's not about building a business, y'all. It's about you getting validation. It's about you building confidence. It's about you building trust in the fact that people will pay for you, and therefore you have value in the market. And it only should take you 2 to 3 artworks to stay at that current pricing that you're getting for the first 2 to 3 of them only. But if you go beyond that, sometimes people would be like, I need another 2 to 3. No, you don't. You just think that you do. After you do that though, you need to go to the next step. And in step 2, what you're gonna start to do is add 10% on to every single pricing request. So every single time you get a new client after the first 2 to 3, add 10% on. And I wanna shape this for you for how powerful this can be for you. Currently, you can have double to 10 times what you're currently making within a year if you got 1 client a month. That's pretty crazy, right? But you can definitely do that, and I know plenty of people that have. I've helped people do this as well. Now, once you get up to about $300, you start to hit that $300 to $500 sweet spot where you feel good about it. Then I'm gonna allow you to, every single time that you submit a quote for somebody, to go ahead and execute on what I call the 25% rule, which is that even if the client can't afford your full price, go within a 25% margin. So in other words, like if they can't afford $300, but they can do $250, good. That's a good compromise right there, okay? So just figure every single one that you go, as you continue to go up, and yes, you should still continue to do 10% every single client, then go ahead and understand that you have a margin to decrease. How's that sound? Here's the most important thing I want you to know, y'all. You won't get it if you won't ask for it. And just to overcome one of your biggest objections, there's money oozing out of every corner of the world. The only difference here is that you don't need 7 billion clients. The only thing that you're probably not doing is you're probably too afraid to ask. Am I talking about you? Now, as you're breaking in, you're starting to get your freelance work, you're starting to get clients, or you're looking for clients for the first time, or you have 0 success. I want to ask you this. What is the most saturated excuse you'll ever hear for why you probably think, or you probably have heard, that that's not working out for you? And have you ever heard that there's an oversaturated art market? Well, I want to give you a very grounded reality, friend. That's absolutely not true, but it is true at the same time. And I want to let you know that anybody that says this is just singing the anthem of those that are using completely ineffective strategies, because I used to too, and I know how this goes. And I've done every dumb and inexperienced and rookie move that you can ever make to try and get clients. I've done making commission sheets. If you're doing them, stop doing it. That's why that's not working out for you as well as you want. I've done robotic email inquiries where you just ask somebody to email you or ask somebody to fill out your Google form and you don't have a conversation with them. That's why you're also not succeeding on a higher level. I've also gone ahead and screwed myself over because I was so eager to get a client, I would just slap out my pricing as soon as they said hi to me. And as soon as they asked how much something costs, that's a bad practice. You're screwing yourself over because you didn't learn the details of it before. And I've done the dumb thing of staying on one single platform, hoping for the best. Y'all, this is like trying to fight a war with one bullet in your clip. It's not gonna work out. And so what I wanna advise you on, and it took me years to figure this out and adapt to the current practices that I now do and I promote to other people, and you can learn about all over my channel, is that if you are only doing what everybody else is doing and they're not getting success and they're not getting the results that you want, then therefore you will only ever get shreds and breadcrumbs of what they aren't getting, which is inevitably going to cause you to fail. And so one thing that I've come to understand is that the market is not oversaturated. It is only saturated with rookies promoting completely unprofessional practices that don't work for us now. They didn't work for anybody 10 years ago when I started either. And you can learn how to do better all over my channel right here. Are you doing any of these? Now this next one is gonna be surprising and it might hit you hard, but this is the tough love that you might need to hear, friend. And I just wanna ask you, have you considered that your failure to launch or your failure to succeed is actually just not because you're a failure, not because you're not talented, not because your mom and dad were right and this art thing was stupid, but because of your failure to invest? I just wanna ask you this. How long have you been using the practices that you've been taught? How long have you been looking for clients? How long have, even if you watch my stuff, how long did you really try that out and were you consistent? Because I wanna drop this bomb on you. The thing that you should do whenever you try anything new, you bust into a new genre, you try a new practice, you need to commit to that for a solid 3 to 6 months, or else you have nothing to grow and show from it, okay? And this is a common practice I see so many artists do. They dump out after a week or two, they dump out after a month. You don't know anything. And let me just put this to you in another practical sense. So if you were to go ahead and lose weight, like you can lose some weight in 30 days, but you're definitely not gonna lose it in a week. You're not gonna lose much in 2 weeks. But if you look at that over the course of 3 months, you could literally be an entirely different person. And if we take that instance and we apply it to art and we apply it to the market and freelancing, here's what you're gonna find. This allows you to support yourself with data. You can draw upon things that have happened to you and haven't happened to you. And listen, I just want to overcome this objection too. The fact that you're not getting art clients, the fact that you are failing, the fact that you are talking to people and they're not buying at your wished and agreed upon price tag, that gives you data, that grants you wisdom, that grants you the focus to actually work on those things. Instead of you feeling dismayed about the fact that you haven't gotten anything yet, I would look at that and ask yourself, not, I can't get anything, but why? But how? How do I increase my practices? How do I increase my art? How do I appeal to clients better? And while you're doing that too, the biggest issue I see is that way too many people switch the art styles, they switch their niche. And again, you need to commit to that one direction, okay? Do that for 3 to 6 months. Create artworks for 3 to 6 months only of that same niche, because that will bless you with data and wisdom to actually make informed decisions rather than making emotional decisions, which will always steer you wrong. Have you ever considered that? Now, throughout this video, I've been talking about your art niche. I've been talking about the importance of it. And now you might be somebody that's like, well, Sean, I don't really know what my art niche is. I don't really know where my future is. I don't know where I should go. I don't know what's going to be the best. I don't know what's going to be the most profitable for you. And listen, this is a common concern I see, so I want to give you some help. And to help you out, I made this video right here. It's going to help you find your perfect art niche. Hope this helped you. Share it with somebody that you know. See you next time.